Well, hello folks, how are you today? I'm really not sure if today's video is going to work. Can you hear that? We've got these Storm Dolores or something rattling through here, and the shed is rattling. So if this don't work, so I was going to go on this little generator down there today. Yeah, I think that's going to be too noisy. You guys are going to moan like hell. So what we might do, we was doing this, but I think I'm going to show you something in the house. Now don't go anywhere. For a while, I've been setting up a little studio in the house so I can do a new segment, a bit like the old bygones was. Anyhow, instead of, I'm not ready for the new segment yet, I will give you, call that wind, I will give you a brief overview of the indoor studio I have now. And we have an old clock. Yes, a wind up clock with Westminster chimes and blah blah. And yeah, it don't work, it needs some repair. So I've never repaired a clock in my life. I think I'm too ham-fisted for it. But yeah, it's too windy, guys. We can't do this today. You're not going to hear me. So we're going to go in the house and I'll show you the new indoor studio. You will be impressed. And yeah, probably have a look at a clock, because this poor old thing has been sitting outside in the rain for a couple of weeks, and I thought it's high time I had a bloody tidy up in this shed. Look, how you noticed? Look. Have you noticed? Look how tidy it is. I've actually swept my floor, put the stuff at the back what I need to keep at the back, got the shutters shut. Oh, this is really good. So we've had a tidy bench to do next, but yes. So we was going to be doing this, but I think, like I say, the wind is too rattly, too noisy, and you guys are not going to be impressed. So this intro really is useless. Anyhow, let's go in the house, see if we can do something in there. Do not adjust your sets. This is Norfolk Man Cave. I don't scrub up too bad. Anyhow, I'm going to show you the indoor studio that I've created through the other room. This is our living room. I don't film much in the house because, well, it's our house. So you don't really get to see too much of inside Man Cave HQ. But I will show you. Mrs. Mancave has kindly gifted me the other front room, because we have two front rooms and we haven't really used it since we moved in here. It's basically been for storage. It's been cleared and I've made a little studio bit, so in these winter months I can do some cleaner jobs and I'm not freezing my nuts off in the cold and wind up the shed. So hope you enjoy this. We're going to have a look at my studio and then have a look at a clock. Yeah, can you imagine me working on a clock? Spiffing good job, old chap. So, I am currently sitting like a gentleman in said studio. I just need a pipe and a glass of whiskey, sherry, port. Anyhow, I am sitting in said studio, looking at my little work area I have over there. I think I better show you guys what I've been doing in this little front room. So yes, it's not quite finished yet. I weren't ready to show you this yet. I wasn't. But after going up the shed in Storm Dolores, yeah, it weren't going to happen. I thought, do you know, well, have a look at my old clock today. Yeah, you can probably hear it ticking. I don't know whether the clock's picking it up. But it ain't keeping time, and the chimes don't work on it. I think we've got one broken spring. Something's not feeling right, because when you wind it, it goes to unwind. I don't know. I've never had an old 100-year-old clock to bits. So Well, it's broken anyhow, so I can't break it no more, can I? Let's have a go. This is what we're up against today, guys. This is what it's like outside. Look at the old trees going for it. That is rough. Yep, this is a very, very rough day. Hence why I'm indoors. So, showing you the full thing. If we come in here, you will see studio lighting. There we go. The sofa I was just sitting on, my little work table. This is not for engines, mind you. This is for clean work. And if I come up, I have my backdrop. So you'll be seeing me basically like this. And I'll be zooming in on the work. That's the electrical cord for the lighting. So if I reach down here and turn the lighting on, as you can see, we have the lights working. There we go. So that should give us sufficient lighting on here. Right, the clock in question is that one right up there. There we go. Now, I bought this display cabinet off Methwall auction about 2 weeks ago, and I absolutely loved it. I'm not normally into dark wood, but I liked how it had the corner piece, and the clock fits in the back there. Perfect look, and the clock came with it. And that clock weren't originally with that case, believe it or not. They was two separate things. The case came in and then the clock came in, and one of the lads at the auction thought, oh, that'll sit on that top shelf. So I bought the pair. It is now about 5 to 12, I think. So that's running a little bit fast. The glass, yes, is cracked in it. But sorry to say, there's a problem with the springs because the chimes don't work. And if you're wondering what all the knickknacks are, you will see soon. Because these are going to be for my Dick Joyce segment of what are these things. Anyhow, we'll get to them another day. And what's in the boxes. Yes, let's get the clock down. So here I have a selection of tools that I think might be necessary to do said clock. So, yeah, we'll get them down and have a look. Alright, here's the clock, guys. I haven't got a clue on a make or a model. There's no pendulum in there. Let me show you in there first. Now then, if there's any people that do clock repairs in my audience, please get in touch, because I don't think I'm going to be able to do much with this, because I know very little about clocks. I do love the chime bars, and I have noticed if I put my finger on the cog in the back, whichever one it was, one of them do actually cause the chime bars to work. I don't know whether I can get it to do it. I ain't doing it now. No, it's not doing it now, but one of these gears in the back, you could turn that slowly with your hand by putting slight pressure on. And it would do its chime thing. It would circle through the Westminster, but it wouldn't do the hour chimes. This is probably not a beginner's clock, but what I can begin on doing is taking the movement out. You can see it's running, and you're saying, oh, your adjustment's way out. Yes, your adjustment is here to here, but anywhere in there, it sort of gains about an hour. Or 20 minutes every day. So if I have it somewhere about there, I can get it down to about 2 minutes a day. With fine adjustment, I can sort that out. This clock really needs someone who knows what they're doing. I do not know anything about the make. It just says made in Germany. So this is a German movement. That's my limit of clocks, guys. But I do like this clock. It goes with that cabinet. Absolutely fine. So let's see if we can get this to bits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do this so you guys can see what I'm doing by basically sitting here at an angle to work on this thing, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Now then, I need some eyewear for this, most definitely, because this has got to be fiddly. Right, I need to get the hands off. Now I think, from watching some YouTube videos, this little brass piece should prise off and then the hands will like pull off. Whether this will work, I do not know. I am trying to be very delicate. Oh, we have a piece off in our tray. There we go, we've got a tray. Now these hands, oh yes. That's one hand off. That's the other hand off. Well, we have the hands off the old girl. Now I need to think about getting the movement out. Oh, such a shame that glass is broken. But I think from my primary look, now like I said, there's no pendulum in this clock. It works on a balance wheel. Is that easier or harder to work on? I have no clue. But the clock side of it appears to tick away nicely. I mean, it's been running over a week now. With a little bit of fettling, I've got it pretty good. Someone's been in here before, because I can see the hammer bar, 2 screws are missing out of that. So that should be held in with 3 screws underneath, 2 are missing. Look, so we've got to find 2 screws to hold the chime bar in. But the actual clock movement, that's got 1 screw missing. So that's held in with another 3. Right, can I lay this clock down to work on it? I don't like that, because I think that's resting on the glass. That's better. That's better, we're not on the glass now. There you go, we're on the rubber pads. Right, I'm going to try and get in here with these screws. Take these 3 screws out, and I'm thinking that movement will come out of there. There we go. That's one out. And what we can also do while the movement is out is we can give this case a good clean. There we go. That's 2. Well, this one's easy to get to. And I think while we're at it, before we take the movement out, we'll remove this chime bar. And 3. So let's see if this chime bar will come out. We might even find the missing screws in here. I really don't know. Whoops. Quite heavy. What a lovely sounding thing. Right, that's the chime bars. Now these screws out, will this movement lift out? Oh, it does, look. It does. Cool. That is far too technical for Mancave. What am I going to do with that? Oh my word. Now, I think straight away I have bitten off considerably more than I can chew. What's this? Right, that's nothing to do with me. That was just lying in the bottom. Right. There's no missing screws in here. Alright. If I can't do nothing with that movement, at the very least, we can clean the case up. I have some wood care stuff to be doing such jobs. Alright, can you guys see what we're doing here? Alright, I have no clue at all what I'm doing. But I did notice when I get the key, which one is it? This one. When you try and wind this one I think is for the clock side of it, the actual mechanism. There's little ratchets there. This little ratchet I don't think's working. It isn't, look. Alright, this is the one where you turn the spring and nothing happens. That one, you turn the spring, nothing happens. So yeah. And this one don't appear to do anything. So what's going on here, I don't know. Now all I know about clocks is, I think, whatever happened there? This just started working. What is happening? Why is that little wheel now going? Look, why is that little wheel going? This is to silence your mechanism. I get that. Oh, that just, you can't see, but that locks that. Very interesting. I am very much learning as I go. This little ratchet isn't latching. This springer's weak. It's not pushing it back onto this gear. But I did watch a video and somebody said you can take the drum springs out of a lot of movements, and I see a slot here, so yes, I think we can slide this spring out. But I think what we need to do is release this clock spring. That's what people seem to do, is they release the springs. Now some of them have a special attachment, but I think what I'm going to do is try and release it on the key. Yes, I know there's going to be a lot of power in here, but they hold the little ratchet back and they sort of unwind it. They unwind it with a special tool. I'm just going to unwind this by letting it spring back a bit. Luckily, I'm quite strong with my hands, so I can feel there ain't a lot. Yeah, the clock has stopped. There we go. We now have, yeah, we don't have any sort of tension on that spring now. It's relaxed. Right, so we've let the springs off. I'm going to try and get this drum out. No point messing about. Just take a picture of that for me in case I get in a muddle. I am trying not to interfere with the balance wheel by putting any pressure on it. I don't want to bend nothing. Cool. She's coming undone, boy. Yeah, I need to get a picture of this so I know exactly where it goes. I'm going to put these at the side they come off in the tray. So if something come off this right hand side, it's going in the right hand side. Left hand side, left hand side. Alright, there's the little spring. I'm not going to take all them off together because I don't want to get them muddled. Alright, that gear lifts off here, look. Oh, what's going on? Okay. Alright. This is loose, but does this centre not pull out? Because I would have thought you could get this spring drum out through this slot. Is that coming through there? Yes, it is. There we go. So we have a spring drum out. How on earth do we get into this spring drum without the entire spring flying out? Alright, this, guys, is beyond my pay grade. 100%. Alright, here's the spring. This will be one of the springs. The middle one for the clock actually works. It's this one that appears doesn't. But why? Alright. It appears that whatever this catches on, so I mustn't forget which way that comes out. Ah, right, okay, so this turns clockwise. I think, yeah, got to remember which way, well, you can't get it wrong. There's a little hole in the spring in here. I'm not pulling that spring out, I'm not stupid. We'll try and get it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm not, that spring's going to come out. There's a little hole I can see on the end of this spring. Let me get you in. Turn a flash on and see if alright, here we go. There's a little hole. Where is it? Ah, there you go. In here, look. There's a little hole that I think this little claw here got to catch on, and that's become uncatched, if that's a word. So I've got to put that in and try and grab that little hole, because there's a little step on there, look. I mean, that way it's just going to fly over, but that should, I think, grab in that little hole. Alright, let me have a fiddle, see if I can get that to grab. Because it would be nice if I could. Alright, you're going to see what I'm doing there. I've got to remember not to move this up that way because you won't see what I'm doing. So you can see pretty much that brass thing. So let me see if I can get that to catch on. I am certainly no clock repairer. I guarantee it, I ain't. Right, hang on. Have we got it? We have, look. So we have this spring. It's come unlatched. Right, I think what I've got to do is put the drum back in the clock mechanism. I think if I put the drum back in, yes, this looks pretty clean to me. People go on about sort of putting a bit of car oil in them springs, but this whole movement don't look that dirty. No, that's sort of, there's a bit of oil staining on there, but it's not dripping of oil, so I don't think anyone's over-oiled this. So let's get our... I'm not going to do that, am I? Because I can't get to the clock drum. I need to somehow latch this spring on. Yeah, I need to somehow latch this spring on here. How are you meant to latch them on and get them to hold on? Maybe this spring needs... Aha! I think you can tweak the spring in so it puts a bit of inward pressure. There you go. Alright, all we needed to do was put a bit of inward pressure on the spring and it's now latching automatically in the hole. So let's put our cover. That's what this is, look, this is one of them. So one of these is missing the thing. That's what that is. So let's get this back in. I'm sure clock repairers don't use hammers. How the devil are you meant to get this back in here? He did pry out with some force though. Maybe you do have to tap them back in. There are clock repairers everywhere saying, no, you don't do it like that. I can see why whoever did that one left it out. Because they couldn't weigh up how you got it back in. Cool. What a nightmare. There you go. There you go. It just takes a push. Right. Let's get this wheel. Can you still see what I'm doing here? Can you still see? You can just about still see what I'm doing. There we go. Let's get this wheel. For a start, I want to look in there though. Everything looks pretty damn good. I would put pressure on here. I'm pulling down on this wheel. The butterflies actually work. This is your main lift. Oops, what is going on here? See, this is... this one's like half latched. It's gone down again. Oh, there's little adjustment screws on here so you can adjust your chime, I reckon. If your chime's about, you slacken the screw and tweak it so it'll chime on the hour or on the quarter. I have no clue. Now I still can't find any form of maker's name on here. How does this latch work? What am I looking at this side? What is this piece this side? This latch. Oh, that drops down. So how does that work? That comes up, and then when this comes up, it knocks that back down, look. Oh, this is very beyond me. We have so that won't turn because whoops. Sorry guys, I'm sorry I'm a bit quiet here. I'm just trying to concentrate on why this isn't doing anything. This is very much beyond me totally. Now I can see there's little tiny screws on these so you can adjust these wheels on these pins. I'm assuming that's so you can set your chimes so when it's on quarter it strikes on quarter. You can just tweak these. But I do not know, guys. I really do not know. This is very much a learning curve for Mancave. Do you know that's just fit? That just slots back in there, perfect. There's nothing holding that yet. It's just meshed into them gears, perfect. You wouldn't think any of this would just hold in. There's nothing holding this drum in. It's just none of the screws hold this in. Does it just hold in with friction fit like that? I mean, it sits in there perfect. Ah, it drops in at the back. Should that tooth be missing? Or have I disrupted now the whole thing? No, this is just a winding gear. Is that a tooth missing out of there? Is that just a broken tooth? Or is that meant to be out of there? Do you know? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's a tooth broken or not. Yes, that does. I can see now there's a little pin there which drops through in the other side. Ah, right, there's a proper little recess, and then that sits back that drops in a little bush. When I can see where the bush is. There you go. Right, that's gone all the way home now. What stops that just jarring forward? Maybe them screws go through enough. Maybe the screws go through enough to hit that now. I think this went on next. Yep. Ah, Right, okay. That's what hold it all in. Right, okay. I got it. Alright. Sorry, this is a totally different video of what I would normally do. Alright. And I need to tweak, I remember, this spring. I remember that spring weren't pushing that ratchet to where it needed to be. But I think before I go any deeper into this thing and risk messing things up, I'm going to ask if any of you guys can do clock repairs. Maybe you've got your own YouTube channel doing clock repairs. If you have, and you'd like me to either bring this to you or send it to you, and you can have a look at it. We can do a video together, do it on your own. Oh, clocks are so fiddly. Ah, thought I had the screw. Right. I can see why I don't work on things quite as intricate as clocks. Boy, oh boy, aren't these things finicky. Really are. All I gotta do is get a screw in there, look. Come on. Finally. Right, we've got the screw back in. There you go. Now this little ratchet here is meant to be pushed back into this sprocket. Which this spring does. And I think this spring need a little bend. There we go. Because I don't think it was pushing the ratchet back in. It is now. Do you see what I mean? God, everything's fiddly. Everything's fiddly, guys. Well, that screw has gone straight in, look. Look at that. So is this side now going to wind up? It is, look. It weren't doing that before. No, it weren't doing that before, was it? Okay, I seem to have fixed one thing. This spring looks totally different. Is this side winding? Now has this spring broken or has it just popped? This is the side where the drummer's missing, look. Let's see if it's something as simple, nothing left in my tray. Let's see if it's something as simple as this side has become unlatched, like the other side. Do you see what I'm getting at? There we go. That springer's working. Lift the gear out. There you go. Now, is it a case of this side has just, yeah, this also has just come unlatched. There you go. It's winding back up. Well, that seems quite straightforward. I'm going to do what I did on the other side and just get the inner bit of spring. I put a little bit of inward pressure on it, and that put a little force. There you go. So that's now latching on there, which it weren't doing before. This is most excellent. So I'm going to put this, let me see if I can get this back in here. Come on. I can see why somebody left this side out, because they couldn't get it back in. This is where I'd be tempted to get a hammer and, but no, you can't use hammers on clock movements. Guys, even I'm not that much of an animal. This should go back in. Why isn't it? I have no bloody clue. I can see why somebody left this one off, because they couldn't weigh up how it went back in. So somebody's left this dust cover off here. Right, I don't want to damage nothing. I'm leaving that well off. So if anybody does want to take this clock on and have a go at it, I'll send that back with it, because I might be just doing, there are two little flats on here where you can actually slide that through. Look at that. There you go, that one's gone straight into its bush. Straight in. Now, is this one going to wind? Right, something's not right. That ain't winding, look. Is this spring broken and that's turning the whole thing? I'm sure we just had that turning in there. I'm wondering if this spring's broken and the whole thing's turning. No, that's definitely turning. What's going on? Why isn't that turning when you get it in there? Right, the whole drum is spinning, look. So why isn't that winding up? It's actually turning a gear. So why is that inner gear? Alright, this is beyond me, guys. When we turn this, there's a little small planet gear right down in here. That's turning when you try and wind it. So the whole drum is turning. I'm sure there should be something locking that, so it doesn't do that. Ah, this latches up here, look. That's obviously what does your hours, this thing. Right. Okay. I have pretty much reached the end of my knowledge on this clock, and I fear if I strip this thing right down, it'll never go back together again, and I would rather not ruin it fully. Of course, there might be somebody out there, one of you guys might know how to fix this, and you might go, yeah, send it to me, I'll have a go at them. Because I would like to get this clock going. It's a lovely little clock. Right, we're back in. Yeah, the whole drum is turning, look, so we don't have a spring issue, I don't think. It seems more sinister than that. I'm going to try and put a bit more tension on this spring. Because this spring appears to be a bit weak, like the other one, do you know what I mean? That don't appear to be doing a lot. I don't want to pry on nothing. There we go. Get in that back bush. There you go, sunshine, you're in. Alright. Going to put this back on. Sorry, this is not a riveting video like mine often are. But just trying to see if anyone like me can just have a go at fixing a clock. Simple answer, no. Not at all. I'm pretty handy with mechanical things, but this is another league. This is literally another league of mechanical bits. There ain't a very defined click. Half of this cam wheel off here. I'm sure when you turn this back drum isn't meant to turn. I'm sure that's meant to be independent. Yeah. I'm going to put some pressure on here. Let me put an hour hand, minute hand back on. Now it was on the old clock, so I've clocked it right. I'm going to just put this clock forward. See, she's starting to. Right, why isn't anything trying to latch? Okay. Okay. It's on the 1/4 to. Let's try and wind up. We know that one's for that. Right, we're winding up. Oh, oh, oh. Hang on. There you go. Wow, look at that. We actually had a chime. Wow. So now we've got the spring wound. So this other side must be the Westminster. This side here must be for the hour chime, because we didn't get an hour chime. But the Westminster side of it worked. Oh. I so want to get this back in the case. And I so want to get this back in the case and see if I can get the Westminster working. Right, how long is this video? I might have to do some really smart editing here, because I think this is quite a long video. Oh my word, 44 minutes. Right, let's quickly see if we can do something with this case. And I will pop the mechanism back in. It's only 3 screws and I can have all that back together. So we're going to put our movement for the minute, because it did actually do its chom thing, didn't it? Right, we have a good old yellow duster like your mother used to use, and some wood floor wipes. Don't ask me what I bought wood floor wipes for, but I thought if they're for wood, they should be alright on a clock case. Of course, this clock case is so dusty and minging. Look at the dirt come off that. Get all on the barley twist, look. Get right in this gap. Oh. Oh, yeah. I do like this clock. I really do. That's one of my little weaknesses, you know, is I've always liked old wind-up clocks. I think they remind me of my grandmother's house, because she always had these old dark wood wind-up clocks. And I always used to be hypnotised by the sound of them. You know, this clock case don't actually look in bad condition. You know, it really don't look in bad condition, guys. Considering how old this thing is, I'm guessing this clock is probably wartime, could be earlier. I could not tell you. But we're coming in all the little nooks and crannies. I will get my little recess tool, my little pick tool, and come right along. There we go. Up round the front. There we go. Just look at the dirt we have got just off that clock case. Unbelievable. There we go. That's given her a bit of a clean. Of course, somebody walking past, walking a dog. Right, let's just give the... Can we wipe the clock face? Ooh. Because there's some marks on that clock face. I think a lot of that is scratches where people have wound it. I'm not rubbing on the letters here, but... Well, we're certainly giving it a little go. There we go. I'll certainly give everything a wipe. Let's now use my mother's favourite thing, Pledge, and give the whole case a polish with Pledge. There we go. I know my mum always used to use Pledge with a yellow duster. So there you go, Mother, if you're watching, which I doubt you are. Your old boy has learnt from you how to use Pledge. I must admit, this is looking so much better. Look at that. Look at that. This clock has actually came really nice. And there we go. Such a shame that glass is broken. There we go. So we're put on, we're now buffing off. We're on a clean bit of duster now. Let's get on. There we are. We shan't, we will do the back, why not? Give the back some love as well, look. Give the back some love as well. Let's go back onto our wet bit of duster. That's there. Oh, yes. Look at the dirt come off the back of that. Let's go to a clean bit of duster. Wipe off. Well, there we go, guys. It appears it appears to have cleaned up quite nicely, if I'm honest. There you go. There we are. There we go. Right, I think I'm going to just put this mechanism back in and see if these chimes work. Yeah, this video's quite long now, so I'll get it all back in and we'll be back. Right guys, I have the movement back in. Let's spin the clock round. Wind it up and see if one of these weren't going to wind, were they? That side, right, this side will, I think. Yeah, this is the side I think we're fixed. Right, she's wound up fairly. Now let's do the clock side. It started ticking again, I can hear it. Right, is it going to do any form? I shan't put the hour hand on yet because I don't know what hour it's at. Let's just put the minute hand on. This is keyed 4 ways, so... Right, nothing happened. It's not on silent. Right, why did it all of a sudden... Why did it start to chime when we had it out the move? Ah. Come on. That is one hell of a chime. So I think this is probably, that's got to be an hour chime. Right, I think that didn't seem very smooth. Yeah, that really wasn't sort of smooth or... So that'll only go on that way or that way. So it's chiming at 5 past the hour. Yeah, that's as much as I'm going to wind that. Let's turn the clock round and try again so you guys hopefully can see exactly what that movement does. So let me come round past the quarter, nothing. Past the half, nothing. past the 3/4 nothing, up past the hour, that is one hell of a chime, guys. And that is at that much past the hour. So that's where she's chiming. Right, the clock is basically together. So I'm just going to reassemble it so I don't lose nothing. I'm going to put it on, I don't know, 2 o'clock, we'll see. This hand needs to go back the way it was, about there. Put our little brass finial back on to hold the hand on. There you go. Right. So yes, if any of you guys are good at clock repair and you'd like to take a look at this, please get in touch. Beer tokens are waiting for you. I'm happy to bring it to you, post it to you, whatever. You can come here, however you'd like to do it. I'm happy to partake, because it would be lovely to get this thing working, as it should. But I just know it's way above my pay grade. I did watch over the last couple of weeks clock repair videos, and there isn't that many showing the 3 winders and the Westminster chimes. Most of them are standard clocks with an hour chime, and I've watched the guys have them bits and they seem relatively simple. Yeah, but I'm getting into this, which has got the 3 springs, and it's German. The engineering's phenomenal, but I don't know. Anyhow, we're going to leave this video here. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this indoor video, you will see a lot more of these over the winter. Please let me know. And if you do have anything that you'd like me to discuss, pull to bits, have a little go on this table inside, let us know. I'm happy to take a look at it, to make a video of it if I can. You know, the more weirder the better. Right, we'll leave this video right here. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye for now. Nothing. Nothing. There's a click, but nothing. Oh, it's now going to go.